Namaste everyone. This lecture is on blood, composition of blood and functions of blood. What is blood? Blood is a fluid connective tissue. Why it is fluid? Because of presence of water, the blood is fluid, and it is also called tissue because the blood is consisting of cells. The fluid portion of blood is plasma, and the plasma is made up of mainly water and water soluble substances. Now, what are water soluble substances that are present in plasma? This can be divided into organic substances and inorganic substances. What are organic substances present in the plasma? Organic substances are proteins, fats, carbohydrates, and non-protein nitrogenous substances. So organic substances are plasma proteins, carbohydrates, that is blood glucose, fats like triglycerides, phospholipids, cholesterol, and also there are non-protein nitrogenous substances in the plasma. So what are these non-protein nitrogenous substances? They include urea, creatinine, uric acid, xanthin, hypoxanthin. So these are all the organic substances present in the plasma. Now, what are the different inorganic substances? Inorganic substances are salts mainly. They are electrolytes or ions or salts like sodium, potassium, bicarbonates, calcium, chlorides. So these are the inorganic substances present in the plasma. What are the different cells in the blood? So there are three types of cells in the blood. One, red blood cells, also called erythrocytes. Two, WBCs, also called leukocytes. Three, platelets, also called thrombocytes. Now let's talk about the values. The normal blood volume is how much? Blood volume is around 5 liters in an average adult male of 70 kgs. So out of 5 liters of blood volume, how much is the plasma volume? Plasma volume is around 55% of total volume of blood. This accounts to nearly 3 liters. 3 liters is plasma and the remaining is cells. The cell volume is around 45%. So what are the different cells? RBCs, WBCs, platelets are the three different types of cells present in the blood, totally according to 45% of total blood volume. The cell volume is 45%. This accounts to nearly 2 liters. Now this, what is there in plasma? Plasma is made up of water Water is accounting to 91% of the plasma, and other water soluble substances, other solids, water soluble substances accounts to the remaining 9%. So what are these other substances present in the plasma along with the water? They are water soluble, organic and inorganic substances. Organic substances, inorganic substances. Organic substances accounts to nearly 8%, and inorganic substance accounts to 1%. So out of 8% in the organic, the major portion is plasma proteins. 7% is plasma proteins. That includes albumin, globulin and fibrinogen. So proteins are around 7%. The rest 1% is by the remaining organic substances like carbohydrates, lipids, non-protein, nitrogenous substances, and some hormones are also present. So all this accounts to 1%. Now we'll continue with what are the different functions of blood. Now we'll see what are the important functions of blood. Why do we need blood? The blood is the vehicle. So first important function of blood is transport of substances. So blood acts like a vehicle for transport of various substances. I'll explain this by giving examples. See now, from the atmosphere, the oxygen enters the lungs. So consider this as a lung. These lungs will pick up the oxygen from the atmosphere. So this oxygen has to enter the blood, and this blood will carry the oxygen to different tissues. So oxygen is transported to the tissues from the lungs. So blood is acting like a vehicle or a carrier for the transport of substances. And also you can explain here, the carbon dioxide is the end product of metabolism from the tissues. So this carbon dioxide will enter the blood, and the blood will carry the carbon dioxide, and the carbon dioxide is taken to the lungs in opposite direction. So oxygen from the lungs to the tissues and carbon dioxide from the tissues back to the lungs for exhalation and removal of waste, metabolic waste, carbon dioxide. One more example we can give is endocrine organs will secrete hormones. How these hormones will reach the target tissue, target cells for its action. So hormones are released into the circulation. The hormone will enter the blood circulation, and this hormone is carried and it will reach the target tissue by passing through the capillary. It reaches the target tissue, acts on the receptor and perform its action. So this is one more example for how the blood acts as a vehicle in transport of substances. Similarly, blood is also a vehicle for transport of nutrients from gastrointestinal system. We'll discuss. So consider this is the GI system, briefly stomach and intestine. The foodstuffs are digested and they are broken down to glucose or amino acids within the lumen of the GIT, and these substances are picked up into the blood capillaries, and these substances will be taken by the blood and they are transported to various cells for their utilization, the cells for utilization. So glucose will be reaching the cells by traveling through the blood vessels. So blood acts as a vehicle. It is like a vehicle. It will carry the substances and it transports from one region to the other region. Next, we'll explain what is the second important function of blood. The second important function of blood is because of the presence of white blood cells. Because of the presence of white blood cells, the blood has role in immunity or defense mechanism. So let me explain how the blood has role in immunity or defense mechanism. So consider now, whenever any pathogen or disease causing microorganism, consider this a pathogen organism, this will enter the tissue. This will enter the tissue. This is the blood, and this is a cell, neutrophil. This cell will recognize this, and this cell will move out of the capillaries, and this cell can engulf this and cause phagocytosis. Phagocytosis of disease causing microorganism or pathogen and killing it. And also some of the WBCs like lymphocytes, there are two types, T lymphocytes and B lymphocytes. They are attacking the bacteria or the organism through immune mediated attack. Either T cells can directly attack the bacteria and kill the organism. The B cells can secrete antibodies. Antibodies secreted against the organism will attack and eliminate the organism, kill the organism, or suppress the organism. So that is how blood has a role in defending our body from disease causing microorganisms, also called pathogens. Disease causing microorganisms or pathogens. Third function is role in regulation of pH or acid base balance. See, normal pH of blood is around 7.4 plus or minus 0.5. So there is a narrow range of pH, that is 7.35 to 7.45. So if there is any alteration in the pH, what happens? The cell enzymatic activity will be altered. So for the cell survival, for the normal cell metabolic activity, the optimal pH has to be maintained. So what happens if at all there is a alteration in the pH? Consider now a condition like acidosis, where pH is reduced, hydrogen ion concentrations are more. So what is the role of blood in maintaining the pH or bringing back the pH to normal? The blood is having plasma proteins and hemoglobin present in the blood. They act as buffers. Hydrogen ions which are present in the blood will bind to the plasma proteins. So there is decrease in free hydrogen ions. So plasma protein plus hydrogen ion or hemoglobin binding to hydrogen ion will decrease the free hydrogen ions. When there is decrease in the free hydrogen ions, the alteration of pH is brought back to normal. So when there is increased free hydrogen ion concentration, these free hydrogen ions are binding to the plasma proteins or hemoglobin, and there is decrease in the free hydrogen ion concentration. When the free hydrogen ions concentration is reduced, so it is like bringing back to normal. So it's like a feedback mechanism. Increase in free hydrogen ions, they are picked up by the plasma proteins or they are picked up by the hemoglobin, and the free hydrogen ion concentration decreases. So this is how the presence of plasma proteins and hemoglobin acting as a buffer to regulate the pH of blood. Fourth function is, what is the role of blood in regulation of body temperature? Regulation of body temperature. So consider when there is change in body temperature, like a person is doing exercise. So when a person is doing exercise, what is happening? There is increased skeletal muscle activity. So because of increased skeletal muscle activity, heat is generated. So the body is heated up, increased body temperature. So what is the role of blood in bringing back the body temperature to normal? So when the body temperature is increased, even the blood which is in circulation, this blood is also getting heat. The blood will be heated up. The blood in the circulation will be heated. Now the blood is very hot now, and that means the blood is along the circulation, it is carrying the heat. The heated blood from the skeletal muscles can reach the skin. So it can reach the surface, skin surface, through the blood vessels in the skin, and this heat can be transferred to the external atmosphere either by conduction or by evaporation of sweat. Evaporation of sweat. So this is how the blood has a role in regulation of body temperature by conducting the heat